We came to Paso, my wife and I, like about 20 years ago, and we thought Paso was super, super cool. And, you know, spending most of our lives in Florida, that doesn't, you know, it's a completely different territory, terroir, if you will, from flat lands to beautiful rolling hills. We bought the first ranch, actually, my wife and I, on a whim. And at the time, that was in 2017, at the time Manoli was going to ag school. And one day he called me up and he says, Dad, you know, the property you bought's a farm, right? And I says, well, yeah. And he says, well, you know, I want to be a farmer. And I says, well, shit, son, those are serious statement right there. And for me, I mean, I thought that was an incredible opportunity to actually build something with my son.
Getting involved in the wine industry itself and starting Boutz Cellars, it goes further back than just me being in school. He's been making wine, you know, as a hobby since 1994. I think there's multiple layers that come into why we became what we are, but ultimately the big driving force of how we became Boutz Cellars was purchasing that first property and then getting into realizing, okay, we're gonna make this a vineyard, and then diving, you know, head first.
I wanted to see how varietals would grow here in Paso, and specifically with two of the varietals, one being the Vidiano, but also the Viatico. Both of them are indigenous to the Amari Valley, from where my family is from. We were actually one of the first to bring it to UC Davis. We're propagating that along with Xinomavro and Ayurvedico. Those are the Greek reds that we have planted. This year we might be able to have enough grapes to make the Ayurvedico, which is super exciting.
We also have our other varieties that we make. Grapes and Grain supports us in purchasing not only our whites, but also some of our reds. And we've recently released our Reserve Syrah, and in the future, we do have stuff in barrel, actually what's behind us, that'll be the potential barrels of blending to make our Reserve Cab and potentially even our Reserve Grenache, which, you know, making a big step forward in one price point, but also a standard for having multiple tiers and having access to that fruit that's our fruit from our vineyards and everything's estate is really, really cool. So it's not just the Greek wines, but also, you know, some of those other varieties that we have planted. We have ups and downs, but, you know, at the end of the day, I think we're both proud of what it's become and what the future is holding.
I think it's been a journey for sure. You know, you have that component where dad wants to, you know, impress the son, and the son wants to impress the dad, and oftentimes that emotion, you know, creates the challenge. And so in the beginning, I think it was very, very challenging. But I think the fact that we're family and that the love component has given us the energy to endure, if you will, and things are definitely in a place right now where I'm very, very pleased.
There's more ups than downs, and I mean, if you look at life in general, there's going to be ups and downs. So if you're going to expect in a family dynamic that it's just going to be all rainbows and butterflies, let alone in farming where you're not really in control of a lot what's going on because of Mother Nature, you kind of have to be accepting of a lot of things, and I think that goes through with not just the weather, but also with everybody's emotions. I'm blessed because not only do I have somebody that's as committed to making sure that our name stays respected, but also the grit and the hardworking drive that comes along with it is the kind of attitude he has when he wakes up in the morning.
We're making wine with a boatload of passion. It's the beginning of a great journey, and people hopefully will feel that when they come and visit with us.
There's nobody else that wants the company to succeed other than us. So I mean, there's no way of going in any other way. I mean, we're 100% in.